So this is fight 252. It's kart chok, which means no gloves, you wear the ropes. And this is against Rungarun. I actually know Rungarun from up in Chiang Mai. She was out of a Lampang gym, and I never fought her up in Chiang Mai. She's bigger than me and bigger than I thought she would be, actually, like bigger than I remembered her. But this is her second kart chok fight. She fought against Callista, who's an Estonian fighter who's often on these cards. So she fought Callista last time and she fought me this time. Not the same size. They even put a difference in our weight, which I've actually never seen on a kart chok fight. They said she was 58 and they said I'm 55. That's not true for either of us. I suspect she's 55 and I'm 46. But that's the first time I've ever seen them actually write a difference in weight when they're just making shit up anyway on those profiles that they put up as we're coming out. I haven't fought kart chok in quite a while. It's one of my favorite ways to fight. It allows for a great degree of freedom because there's no points. Like, you either win or lose by knockout, otherwise it's a draw. For the past few times that I've fought, have gone up with Karahat as my corner, which is awesome. He's an amazing corner for any kind of fighting, but he couldn't come to this one, and so I had to ask the promoter to please just have someone help me when I was there. And he's always like, yeah, no problem. And then when it actually comes to it, it's like, I need to get in the ring in 4 minutes. Do you have someone who can please help me with my massage? And he's like, oh, like, I'll find someone. So the dude who's in my corner is a French guy who I think trains at the promoter's gym. I wrapped my own hands. I didn't get an oil massage. I put Vaseline on my own face and basically just had this guy pouring water in my mouth in the corner and rubbing water on my legs. But that's sometimes the kind of corner that you have. It's not a problem. Again, we're looking at a style that I absolutely love because it's like the Wild West of fighting. So I'm happy when I have like no pressure from my corner at all whatsoever. When I saw Rungarun, I know her as Poppy. When I saw her sitting there, I was like, oh, fuck, she is not the same size I remember her being. She actually is the ex-girlfriend of Nongnoocha, who I've fought many times up in Chiang Mai and maybe in other places, I can't remember. But I don't know why I thought she was smaller, because I remember always thinking she's bigger than Nongnoocha, who's much bigger than me. But for some reason in my head, I had like made out in my head that she was like 52 kilos. And then when we saw her, I'm like, definitely not. The promotion, this kart chok promotion, has nicknamed me Jom Sadit. Jom is a kind of prefix that means like the ultimate of something or the most of something. So Jom Hot is a name of fighters, and it means like the most cruel or like the most mean. Jom Sadit means like the most sadistic. And I think I got that name because for my first few kart chok fights, I was always getting cut. But I don't mind at all, and I think that them seeing how I handle being cut and having blood running down my face and enjoying myself and coming forward, I think that they really keyed into that aspect of my fighting style, and that's how I become Jom Sadit. So even though I haven't been cut in a kart chok fight in quite a while, the nickname has stuck, which is cool. But you know, Yod Kun Pan, the elbow hunter of 100 stitches, he says he got that nickname basically from like one really good elbow and then it stuck for a really long time. He is the best elbow hunter, the best elbow fighter of all time ever, so it's a beautiful nickname. But the point being that the nickname came from like one thing and then stuck and like kind of melded with who he ended up being. It's like how you're named when you're a baby, but then it ends up like fitting you over time. It's kind of cool. The people who come to watch kart chok fights in the audience, it depends on what time of day it is, but there may not be a lot of them in the stands. This is on TV, so people at my gym were watching it in Crew News living room at home. But the people who come to watch kart chok fights get super into it. Like, they are hardcore fans of the style. So basically the rules are pretty much the same as Muay Thai in terms of what's allowed and what isn't, but because you don't give points, it doesn't matter if you're getting kicked a lot, because it's not like I have to make up for that point. You're basically just trying to knock your opponent out all the time. So you fight in a different way in that, like, you don't have to worry about the points that are accumulating or getting them back, or oh, I'm getting hit on the way in. Like, look at my face and where it is on the ropes versus where she is on the ropes. You can totally see the difference there. This guy in my corner, this Thai guy, he didn't stay in my corner during the fight, but he's actually a really good fighter on kart chok as well. I've seen him fight. So I'm not worried about her kicking me on the way in, and the way that I win is in the clinch, so I come in to try to do damage with my knees. I can knock people out with my knees. Even at this early stage, the referee is breaking the clinch immediately, and I don't understand why he's doing that, because it's knockout or nothing. Like, why would you break the clinch if the whole system is designed to not be points? I understand, like, driving, striking action or whatever, but, like, she's not going to win by backing up and striking me. I am going to win by coming in and knocking her out, so I don't know why the ref was so keen to break the clinch that early. She had a really good hips in response to being grabbed by me. With her height, it's a little bit tricky. I actually need to solve this. It's something that a lot of girls have been doing in the past 10 to 12 fights. They've all just been driving their hips in really hard, and because I haven't quite solved it yet, it's more effective than it should be. So I actually have some things already that I know I should be working on, but I just need to, like, bring it into the arsenal to make it faster. So there's no reason for him to be breaking it right there at that moment. I don't understand why he's doing that. But she's fighting a kart chok fight in a not kart chok way. This, like, back up and try to land, like, a little kick or a jab or something is not how you fight kart chok. But it's how she fights, so you're not going to, like, completely reverse your style. So now I've got my arm in. See how my right arm is in and it's locking her arm out, and I'm starting to hook it? I'm getting much more control from that position, but I need to stay off the ropes, because with her size, once we get to the ropes, she can just kind of, like, stagnate. That's when a ref should come and break it, is when you're against the ropes and, like, nothing's happening, which is why you'll always hear Kevin screaming, pull her off the ropes in my fights, is because if I can get people to the middle of the ring, it's much harder for the referee to break it and not look like he's doing something ridiculous that he shouldn't be doing. You can't necessarily control when the referee is going to do something, or if they break it a lot. You can't necessarily control that, but you can make it look like a terrible decision, or like he's doing something that he ought not to be doing, by the way that you attack your opponent and are keeping moving and things like that. If I allow us to go into the ropes and kind of, like, lay on the ropes, then it's kind of a, like, okay, that, you know, I understand why they're breaking that kind of thing. This is a commercial break, so we get to watch the emblem in the fire while people at home are watching commercials for instant coffee mixes and Commando energy drink, I think, is one of the sponsors. I think Commando is on our shorts. When you fight on televised shows, sometimes you get to keep the shorts that the promoters, or the sorry, what are they called, that the sponsors are giving for the fight. I wish they would let us keep kart chok shorts. They are so comfortable. They're crazy comfortable, and I love them, and I think that they should just pull those back into fighting anyway. They look a little bit like the, Ayutthaya Baran style thing, but they're super comfortable. This part is on the televised part. These are some of the sponsors. There's Commando. That's what's on our shorts. I actually don't know what they are. I think they're an energy drink, but I'm not sure. This is the VIP stage that you, like, walk out from, and usually has, like, promoters and head honchos. Over there on the right is Dodo. He's, like, the mascot of sports in Thailand. He's very nice. Oh, she's going after my leg, which my last opponent bashed my leg so hard. It's a good strategy on her part. So here, this is where you make it hard for the ref to break you. See how I'm digging my head in and I'm trying to like twist around a lot? He's not breaking it because we keep moving. I'm a little bit frustrated and actually showing that I'm a little bit frustrated by having a hard time like breaking her upper body down a little bit. My turns were good, but I need to kind of like rip her down a bit. I like that my kicks are coming out though. It's a step on a jab, which is really good for me. I kind of like my jab, but like stepping on it actually adds some power to it, so it's more effective, which when you're not wearing gloves is always better. I've got my arms kind of in the scarecrowed position because she's like double underhooked and she's trying to get behind me. I'm actually throwing elbows at her forehead, which because of the angle of my body have no power on them. But that's the kind of thing that in kart chok you want to be throwing things like that because everything is designed to finish the fight. Which is actually what I loved about Muay Thai when I first started, was that kind of philosophy. I don't know why he's breaking that. I don't know why he's breaking that clinch. It makes no sense. When I got home after this fight, that was something that was said to me from all the people who are watching at home who I care what they're saying, like Bamrung and Diesel Noi were like, I don't understand why the clinch was being broken so much. She's trying to lock there. She's got a very strange lock, like in her elbows. I landed some good knees there, but because there's no points, it's not a like, wow, Sylvie got some good points with those knees. The points are whether or not those made her really tired. And we're going into round 3 now. So in a scoring fight, round 3 would be an important scoring round. So you'd want to like build, like 1 and 2 are kind of whatever. And then on 3, you really want to like establish what you're going to be doing for the rest of the fight and then build on top of it. So having kneed her like that at the end of round 2, I've potentially put some like vampire energy sucking knees into the end of the round to pull her down for round 3 so that I can start my building. But because there's no points in kart chok, what I'm building on is not a like, you landed some good knees. What I'm building on is how tired am I making her? How affected is she by those knees? How hesitant is she to stay close? All of these things that like getting towards the knockout is really the point in kart chok. And I think that that's the kind of like mental shift you have to make between regular Muay Thai and kart chok Muay Thai, is that because you're looking for the knockout, mentally you need to be smelling blood in the water at times when it's not imminent. You have to be smelling it all the time, like reading distances from a farther distance than you would be if it were a point match. I like my new haircut for kart chok for sure. I think the announcers are saying something. I'm smiling at them. They like to talk to me while I'm in the ring. So she's just kicking, which unless she's going to knock me out with kicks, doesn't matter, which is great for me because I get kicked all day in every single fight ever because I'm small. Those are points against me in a point fight, but they're not points against me in kart chok. So what's cool about this is it ends up looking like I'm just walking through her kicks, and she's actually starting to throw elbows now too, which means she understands that in round 3 she's got to start going for the knockout as well. I like that she was going for a knockout with the elbows. And I have to give credit to working so hard on my long guard that those aren't landing, because usually the first, like the first or the second elbow thrown at me lands because they take me by surprise. But I'm talking about years ago. I'm not talking about recent. But as someone who's had many cuts, that was kind of the thing. That's a nice block on her part in the ropes. He should actually be breaking it here, but he doesn't, whereas when I'm actually moving her and turning her, he's like breaking it immediately for no reason. She's going backwards a lot. because she's throwing elbows, she is like trying to cut me or win or something like this, but going backwards like this is not a I'm trying to knock you out way to fight. Why is he breaking that? I don't understand. My rope was coming off a little bit, and so I had to keep like re-wrapping it around my hand as I was coming after her. And I'm coming after her with punches a little bit, but I need to be going left much harder than I am. She got poked in the eye a little bit there, and so she kind of like starts grabbing at her eye. This is a strong moment for me. If I had like pulled back to create distance between our bodies, I think I could have knocked her out there. But the round ended very quickly. After round 3, Kevin and the people watching at home were like, okay, Sylvie can knock her out. But again, it's the smelling the blood in the water from a distance. Like, if you finish a round like that, you have to come into the next round starting from where you were a minute ago. And that can be difficult with televised shows where they have pretty long breaks in between because they want to get, like, their commercials in. It can be difficult because you're not immediately in the context that you were when you were just grabbing and kneeing someone. And then it's also a matter of like being able to feel how she's going to adjust, because now she has, 2 minutes or something to make adjustments to what was just overwhelming a minute before. When you have someone on the edge like that, getting them back to that edge can emotionally be really easy and physically be kind of hard, depending on how people recover from things. So coming off of a break and getting someone back into the emotional state they were in when they were overwhelmed 2 or 3 minutes ago requires something like grabbing them immediately again and putting them exactly in the same position, or elbows can do this for people who are very afraid of elbows. It's something that you have to kind of have experience and know about, and theoretically I have knowledge about this, but experientially I don't think I'm quite there yet in being able to put people in that state. Those shorts are the best. They're so awesome. I'm breathing pretty heavy, which is good. I remember Kevin yelling at me, "Get tired," which has become a bit of a mantra for us. Like, I really need to drag my opponents into the deep water a little bit harder than I have been. It's something that I cycle through. I'm blocking the kicks now, mostly because my leg still hurts from my last fight and she's going after it. Blocking it doesn't matter that much other than it looks like I'm kind of tanking through. But I have a pretty good lock here and I'm bouncing, which is really good because of our size difference. Because she's bigger, me being able to bounce when we're kind of in a like stuck position like that demonstrates my strength and my controlling her. The announcer saying my dag, which means like not cut, so he can see that she's throwing all of these elbows and they are not cutting me, which is great. But I've been working on this long guard. This long guard is something I resisted for a long time because I'm short. But if you watch Chicken Man or Pigai in the Muay Thai Library, and Krunu, who's not in the Muay Thai Library, but he's my regular trainer, they've been working with me on this a lot. So I'm kind of tackling her a little bit with my clinch, but I need to create distance with my body and then land knees that will knock her out, because she's already tired. So the kinds of knees that I'm landing that are like slapping the side of her body, that's just going to make her more tired. But the point is, now that she's already pulled down, now I need to be landing the like, that's going to knock you out, more direct angled knees. Oh, she is coming at me though. So I came forward really good in round 3, and I'm a little bit slow in round 4. I like that elbow though. She turned me right on my knee. Got me down on the ground there. It's not a point fight, so it doesn't matter, but it got into my heart a little bit. So it does matter. And then positions like this, that's a dominant position in a scoring fight, but it's not a scoring fight. So finding a dominant position, you have to then land something out of it. So I had this kind of weird experience, which I think because I did pretty well in round 3 and then she came much harder in round 4. And I was still coming forward, but she was like resisting me really, really well and firing a lot at me, I lost track of what round it was. And I thought that round 5 was round 4. Like, I thought that I had more time in the fight. This doesn't matter so much. I should have been coming forward in round 4 the same way that I was in round 3. And basically from round 3, 4, 5, I should consistently be coming forward the same way I was in round 3, like with no real break in pace, especially if I'm trying to like tire her out. Or once I've already gotten her tired, looking for that kill shot kind of thing. But it's one of these things where you can completely lose track of what round it is, or like what your corner said to you 2 minutes ago or something like that. Anyone who ever makes fun of ring card girls, sometimes you need to be reminded what round it is. So it is a real job. And I didn't know what round it was because there's no ring card girls. And the referee usually comes around and like does a hand signal for what round it is, and he didn't do that. So I went into round 5 thinking it was round 4. Look at her come after me with those knees, though. That's really good. So, because this is round 5, it's the end of the fight. There's no points. Oh, she turned me really good on that. I'm smiling, though. That's good. I fired so many of these right hands. I'm actually stoked on it. I landed quite a few of them. The thing that ended up being, for me, the story of this fight was my right hand. She's throwing so many elbows now, which makes it really exciting, but they're not landing. She's got this, like, rhino elbow coming through. I've actually got a much shorter guard than I had earlier in the fight, so it's good that that's still working to block those. She's grabbing the rope there. But again, round 5, like, basically knockout or nothing, and now the referee is breaking the clinch even faster than he was before. Which is like, what are you doing? What is the point of this? But guard up, coming forward with very long right hands. I knocked her backwards with a couple of those. I think that my right hand was something that I really believed in way long ago, like when I first started Muay Thai, and then I broke my hand and it kind of disappeared for a while. So I'm actually really happy to see it coming back here. It's an interesting thing about a career as a fighter is that you're always just rearranging plates on a table. Like, your kick gets better and then it gets worse because you're working on something else. Your right hand is something you believe in and then it kind of disappears because you're working on something else. I think there are fighters who stay like they are a right hand or something. But I think that for most of us, it ends up just being kind of like a juggling, shuffling act. Why is he breaking that? There you go. It's one of these things where I kind of am ashamed to say, because it's just the wrong thing, that when you know that you have to knock out, otherwise it's a draw, you can't be like, well, at least I didn't lose. Like, you're not fighting just not to lose. You have to be fighting to knock out. Hey, this is fight 252. I'm in Lopburi, which is the monkey city, and it was Chuek. I've never fought this opponent before, but I've seen her up in the north in Lopburi, in Lempang before, but we never fought in Chiang Mai, so I got to fight her in Chuek, which was cool. Her name is Rungarun. She was coming at me with a lot, so we got a draw because there was no knockout. It was a hard fight, good fight. Lots of things that I'm happy I was doing and a lot of things to work on, as always in fights. So 252, done, draw, Chuek. Training with Hanoi tomorrow, which I'm very, very excited for. We're going to be filming for my patrons, so looking forward to that. He is who Diesel Noi says is the best of the best, so that should be very cool. Thanks to everyone who watched the live stream. I think people were watching at the gym, so thank you everyone at the gym who watched on TV, and see you guys soon.